We're talking we have two matchups left to do. We did the rest of these on Friday. We're recording these last two on Sunday, which gives us the benefit talking about Phoenix and the Lakers after we had just watched game one. And boy, are there a lot of takeaways from just one game of basketball. And there's a lot of you could make like a zillion hot takes just from one game involving the Lakers.
Yeah.
Where you want to go first?
I want to know your thoughts.
All right. So this, from a stat line point of view, was shocking. Anthony Davis, minus 18, right, on plus minus.
Yeah.
They're only 13 points, 7 rebounds, 3 blocks, 5 of 16. So 13 points on 16 shots, right?
Yeah.
DeAndre Ayton, who, if I hadn't watched the game, probably wouldn't have mentioned a lot about him because I didn't understand why he didn't take more of a leap this regular season. Like, he just seemed to be taking pick and roll from Chris Paul, and that's it. Call it a day.
Yeah.
And he definitely did that, but this was a matchup where he played way better than I expected. 10 for 11, 21 points, and 16 rebounds. Made Lindsay really question Anthony Davis's toughness.
The game did in general, yeah. I mean, I feel like even in the last game, Anthony Davis looked kind of similar, where he was just very passive down low.
Yeah,
just was not playing well.
You want to know what? Honestly, watching this game, you could see that Devin Booker was the best player on the team. And
Really?
Yeah. To me, personally, when I was watching, and the way that especially towards the end of the game, they were just running the offense through him. The whole end of the game, it was just
well, they were also.
I don't know if it was because Chris Paul had got the shoulder injury too.
Yeah.
Which that could very well be the case. But Devin Booker definitely showed up, and he made it very difficult for the Lakers to even every time the Lakers were having a chance of coming back in the game, he just either made a shot or made a play, or he was always involved in the play. And the biggest thing I noticed, the Lakers defensive rebounding and the Suns offensive rebounding was the big key difference between the two. The Suns almost every single time got their own rebound. Like, whenever it was a 50-50 ball, they always got it, and they ended up hitting the shot afterwards. And that's just, those are shit, just killers. Like, when you're playing good defense and then you can't get the rebound afterwards, that's gonna always kill you.
Why do you think they wouldn't play Marc Gasol at all? I just don't see how that makes sense.
And I wanna, and this is why I wanted to know. So, what do you guys feel about the series now after watching this game?
Dude,
because I have opinions, but I also want to know what you guys are thinking.
Yeah, because I also, there's a lot of stuff. So when did this happen exactly with the shoulder? It
was, I think it was towards the middle or late part of the second quarter.
Right. So he was playing the whole second half like this with the injury, right?
Yeah.
So that explains why Devin Booker got a lot of those looks.
Yeah.
Later in the game, which is interesting because you still got to fucking do something with those looks, right? Mm-hmm. And we'll see later. He was able to do that. But really, it's interesting because what was the reason that Chris Paul was going to get MVP voting? It wasn't his stats. It was about what he did for these guys, right? And now this fucking guy gets hurt. It's just a beautiful story. This guy gets hurt. What do these guys do? They step up.
Yeah.
But what do you think about? Do you think Anthony Davis just had an off game? Do you think something's wrong with him physically because it doesn't make sense. He just scored 40 on these guys.
Yeah. So this is my thing. But I really want to know what you guys think first before I say this, because I want to know if I'm crazy for what I'm thinking or like if this is like a consensus thing. So
I want you to speak on it, and then I'll give you an opinion.
Nah, no.
Setting the audience up. You got to fucking deliver the goods.
Well, at the end of the day, and I say this, I think I said this all last year too. First game of a series is always LeBron's fill-out game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So LeBron, if you look, and I don't know towards the end what happened at the end, but I remember watching towards the middle of the fourth, and I looked, and LeBron had only taken 9 shots.
Right.
He had, I don't remember how many points. I think it was about 18, 19 points, something like that. And he was shooting 55% from the field. Looking at Anthony Davis, he's shooting like 30%. And everybody else is bad. So I'm looking, I'm like, why isn't LeBron attacking more? And then I'm thinking about it. I'm like, this is usually his fill-out game. So he's probably looking at the game plan and then thinking about how to make adjustments later on. I truly do think LeBron James always fills out the first game and then figures things out. Because if you watch this game, LeBron was passive, very passive. He made a lot of bad passes and made some bad turnovers too. Which that was the only part of his game that was kind of frustrating me. I'm like, bro, like stop trying to thread the needle all the time. Like just make the smart pass. Like when you guys actually pass the ball 3 to 4 times, like you score. Yeah, like when they passed the ball 3 to 4 times in a possession, they scored. Like it was as simple as that. And I felt like they were forcing it too much to try to force it into the inside or force a 3 open or something. And it was just like, just go with the rhythm of the game or whatever. But I think usually after watching a game like this, and obviously it's at Phoenix, everything, it automatically makes someone think, wow, Phoenix could do this. And truth be told, I had Lakers in 6 as my when we were doing our brackets or whatever.
Right.
And the game that I would have expected them to win is this one. So I'm not changing my stance right now in terms of what I think is going to happen in the series.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a 6-game series, and I think the Lakers are going to make significant adjustments. I think Anthony Davis is not going to play as bad as he did. A lot of the times after a game like this, especially in the playoffs, the very next game, Anthony Davis comes aggressive. So if he doesn't, then that's going to make me a little bit more worried. But I expect, and it's not urgency mode yet. We'll see, and we'll really know if LeBron is really like as injured as people say he is in this series. If they start going down, 3-2, 3-1, and he doesn't get into that attack mode. If he doesn't, then that makes me feel like he was injured. But because that's not like LeBron.
So we know he's not 100% no matter what, because that's already been stated. That's not a secret. And even if he was 100% going into the Warriors game, that fucking eye thing, who knows how long that'll take to heal, and like if you ask LeBron, it'll probably take him the entire playoffs, even into the finals.
Did I send it to the group chat the KD fall, and then they said if this happened to LeBron, it would he literally would have been rolling on the floor for 4 minutes or whatever. Yeah. Literally, it happened to LeBron in this same game, fourth quarter. He I swear to God, like maybe he fell hard. I don't really think he did because he braced himself when he fell, and he was on the floor and making it a big deal about his arm.
Got it right here.
Yeah, and it was.
And then after he got up, he then also went back down onto like a knee.
Look, like he braced himself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sure, it probably hurt a little, but definitely not all of this. Like KD's fall was significant. Like KD's fall looked like it could have been it could have possibly been a concussion if he fell like worse than what, you know what I mean? Like
also his skinny ass, it looked like he broke his arm.
Yeah, he just like face planted on the freaking floor, and he just got up right away and was good. Like, and I remember retweeting that shit and saying like 100% facts because that's what LeBron does. I don't know why he does that all the time. Like, I hate, like that's the only thing Like being a Laker fan and having a root for this guy, that's one of the things that gets me so frustrated. Like, come on, just play the freaking game.
Yeah.
Like people
I
respect you
mean,
way more if you just get up and go. But he knows that he might get like a better call or something because of it, which is not stupid, but it's
which
like,
is
bro,
all,
for every single fall you got to do this. Like, it's
it's
really
all part of the game, though.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, am I bugging or what? Because that's what I really do think, because it's one, the Lakers, and two, LeBron automatically gets blown out of proportion. Any game LeBron loses, it always gets blown out of proportion. So
I don't like what's going on with Anthony Davis. I don't understand it. That's I think this loss has so much less to do with LeBron
yeah,
because of everything that you said, and so much more to do with the Lakers are supposed to have the biggest advantage in the world with Andre Drummond and Anthony Davis getting rebounds, and they got out rebounded like badly. That's fucking concerning. If I hadn't seen this game beforehand, I would have said, if I'm the Lakers, I crash the inside like they did. I attack and be active on the rebounds, which they tried to do, and I try to make DeAndre Ayton beat me, which he did. Like,
do you wait? Time out. Do you think that they really like were fighting? Like I personally saw little effort in rebounding when I was watching. I
okay,
remember getting extremely frustrated as a fan watching and seeing them. No one really try to fight for a rebound ever. Like it was like you can't. They kind of try to box out,
right,
and then whenever the rebound, like no one actually went to get the rebound, and whenever they did get a rebound, it was like a sigh of relief because like LeBron got it or something like that. Like, and it was just like one that like it hit the ground. It actually got to hit the ground, so that's why they got it. Like it was always. I felt like Phoenix clearly cared about the rebounding, and that probably was a big emphasis in going into the game because they knew that that was supposed to be the Lakers' advantage.
yeah. I'm
You
not
know what I mean?
disagreeing with you, but that's concerning. Like,
No,
it's
but what I'm saying is you think that, do you truly think that they can consistently do that throughout the course of a series?
I
Stop the
think
Lakers from rebounding?
how badly they dominated them in this particular game is concerning. I definitely think it's concerning. Andre Drummond's hands down the best rebounder in the league. And he really should have one job. I'm going to get to Andre Drummond in a second, but he has one job: play defense, rebound, and putbacks. And that's it. That's all you need him to do, right?
He can't make a layup for his life, by the way.
I agree. He's Andre Drummond. Fucking, he also can't make a free throw either.
Yes.
I don't understand what Anthony Davis's problem is with playing center. I don't get it. It's ruining this. I don't understand why he can't just be the five. Like, I don't know what the mental block is for him. I've said this before on the show, but like it really looks bad when I look at Andre Drummond and I'm like, if you weren't here, I think this would have gone better. Like, I just think the game plan would have been different. The spacing would have been better. And
But I think what the Lakers do is they start out specifically away, and they adjust. This team has adjusted. They adjusted all throughout that playoffs last year,
right.
and like. And
But Andre Drummond's not Dwight Howard. And Dwight Howard's not like as good as Andre Drummond at what Andre Drummond does right now. But what Dwight Howard did for the Lakers, which was just block shots, get the rebounds, be physical, that's what they want from Andre Drummond. And I don't know what he just looks big and goofy out there every time. Every time. I don't know why. He just like, he is a center for me. Era that's not now.
yeah.
And
so you said that they dominated them,
just
right?
been worried about this
They
whole
just dominated them in the rebounding because even in the
I
game,
mean, they did.
only won by 9. Like, so like,
I know, but they were up most of the game.
yeah, I agree. They were up by 15 at one point. We cut it back.
Largest lead was 16 points.
7-6, something like that. And then they it kept on going back and forth in that sense. I'm not making. If we go down 2-0, then maybe it might make me a little bit more nervous.
Right.
But as of right now, this was if you all right. So you also what was your before watching this game? Who did you have winning the series?
Well, I was thinking that it would probably be Lakers in 7, considering health.
Okay. And what game would you have expected? What games would you have expected Phoenix to win?
Oh, I get where you're going with this. I get where,
like it's literally gonna just be over.
but it's how they won it is what I'm talking about. Like Anthony Davis when he's on the floor was a -18.
Yeah.
That's a fucking issue. I don't look at plus minus like that super serious,
Yeah.
but that's a big number.
I didn't even have to look at LeBron's plus minus. I knew that he was a positive when he was on the floor. 'Cause I remember witnessing it. I was like, literally, once LeBron leaves the floor, things go to hell.
Yeah.
And this should not feel like the 2018 NBA Finals. Like
I agree with you, that's where my concern comes from.
But this
this team's supposed to be solid and deep.
Yeah. So this is my main thing. First off, like being the first game of a series, obviously it's to fill out. This is what I picture happen. Then LeBron James says, "All right, let's look at the stat sheet, Anthony Davis. You see this 5 for 16? What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Come on, buddy. All right. Second of all, I like the 3 blocks. Awesome. You're doing your job there, right? The like he's just gonna do this is what he honestly is probably gonna happen. Like not in the same manner, obviously, but he's really gonna pick him up. And I guarantee in the first quarter, I guarantee Anthony Davis gets at least 3 to 5 sets where he just attacks. Like I guarantee it. That's what they did last year. Whenever Anthony Davis had a bad game, the very next game they force fed him and they let him eat because he is very similar to in the mindset I feel like of a Kevin Love where
wow.
No, I'm not in the. I'm not trying to do.
But you can say that because basically what you're trying to say is you need to get him going and make him feel good, rub his tummy a little bit for him to start playing well. That's basically what you're saying.
After a bad game, yes.
That's what you're saying.
I think so in that sense. I don't think he's like.
Anthony Davis is.
I'm not trying to do this whole mental health thing with him, but I just more so think that's where you got to know where you're gonna get the best out of the player. Anthony Davis is a top 10 player in the league. If it takes you force feeding him a little bit to make him that top 10 player, that's what you're gonna do.
They had to do it with Shaq.
Yeah, Anthony and LeBron James. Sorry, Lindsay, but LeBron James is gonna be LeBron James no matter what. I don't care what injury it is. If this goes to shit, I guarantee you, look, you're gonna see 30, 10, and 10 LeBron, 100%. I don't care how it's gonna look. It might not look like the same exact LeBron James that we're used to, but I guarantee you those numbers are going to be put up if it starts looking really bad for the Lakers.
My only issue with that Anthony Davis argument is that now he's had 2 bad important games in a row.
Which were
the last game he didn't play particularly well either. The Lakers didn't play particularly well that game either. They just lucked out in the fact that Steph Curry's literally the only person on the Warriors who could do anything. Like I just feel like there was 2 games in a row where Anthony Davis didn't play well, so that theory is just it holds less weight in my mind.
So this offensive, the part that I care about is that they're playing defense. Either way, you held the Phoenix Suns to under 100 points, and they're a pretty good offense. You got so as long as the defense is there, that doesn't scare me because at the end of the Anthony Davis, LeBron, and this whole team has only really played how many games together altogether? Like 30, maybe.
Yeah, not a lot. Not a lot.
So the offensive rhythm is gonna be off anyways, especially since they've only played like the last 5 games together. You kind of have to expect this a little bit, where they have to figure things out, which kind of sucks that you have to figure it out against a good team. But
that's what I'm worried about. because this team's not gonna. I think this team will, if they smell blood in the water, like if they get up 2 games, like you said, that's gonna be. I would be concerned because they're not gonna. I don't think this team has like a lack of talent or like a talent pool that's gonna back down. It doesn't seem like they don't seem to be that type of team. Like I don't know. That's why I really wanted to see the Lakers go against Utah. I still think Utah's the better matchup for them.
If they lose the next, if Phoenix loses the next game and then loses the third game, at LA, they lose in 5.
Right.
That's my opinion on that. If Phoenix has to win one of the next 2 games in order to make it go to 6, because if they lose the next 2 games, they're losing in 5. This is, and then now I get to go into conspiracy mode, right?
No, you don't.
Oh.
I get to talk.
All right.
What I'm saying is, I just think that first of all, let me ask you a question. Do you think Chris Paul plays every game in this series?
Sure.
Sure?
I guess.
I think it makes
I really don't. He could or could not. It's not.
I think it does. I think it makes a huge difference.
If he doesn't, they're gonna lose worse. But
would that then be making a difference?
No, because at the end of the day, the outcome is the outcome. The Lakers go to the next round.
Right. So if we're going to look at it and say, okay, they're already up 1 game, right? I don't think Chris Paul plays every game in this series. I think Chris Paul either plays a quarter of game 2 or just sits game 2 and waits to play game 3 in LA, because that's when they'll really need him on the road, right? Back in LA, in Staples, where obviously Chris Paul is super comfortable and he'll be able to help them get through their shit. At home, I think they will be okay with him if he were to sit or not be ready to go for that next game. I agree with you with how you think the second game's going to go with Anthony Davis, where they're going to feed him. But, like, it just sucks that that's the guy. I expected more intrinsic motivation out of him, especially considering the way he talks and the way they were acting last season with talking each other up, just like you said. I don't understand the lack of mental fortitude out of him. It doesn't make sense.
I know, it's so funny. Like, when I say these things earlier in the season, you say, I don't understand how you could think this. Then is it happening? And then you question these same things that I was mentioning earlier in the season. I remember this same thing happening before, where I was like, I really don't know if Anthony Davis is like that kind of.
Well, I don't know when I see it. I call it how I see it. I don't call it. I don't like calling it months from now. I like calling it when I see it.
But the whole thing is like, you watch it during last season, in the play. I remember specifically telling you Anthony Davis is the man on text, and you said, I don't know about all that, because you felt the same way that you feel right now. These little things make you question him, because it's like, bro, like, why don't you? A superstar and a guy of that stature is supposed to come every single time.
Yeah, that's where I agree. And it's also like much like
there's no up and down. Shaq always gave you the 25-10, 30-10.
Much like you with Giannis, I give Anthony Davis probably more rope than I should a lot of the time, where I just like, because you're right, I did do that last year. But I forget about it when he, against this same fucking team, drops 43 points like 2 weeks ago. This wasn't that long ago. Like, that's where I'm confused with him. Like, and you're right, it shouldn't go like this for any reason.
But at what point do you give the Phoenix Suns some type of credit for that? Because you look at it, just like you just said.
I feel like you should be asking yourself that question, because you were the one who just said this game doesn't matter and the outcome will be the same regardless. Yeah, so I asked you that question.
I'm saying in terms of Anthony Davis's performance. I'm talking about in totality of the series. I expected this game to be a loss. If we would have been doing this, whatever, I would have probably said, like, this upcoming game might be the one. If I had to say, all right, they're gonna lose 2 games. Which 2 games are they gonna lose? It'll be game 1 and probably game 5
Yeah,
would have been
that's what I would have said too.
you know what I'm saying? So it would have been Lakers would have been up, but right now, depending on how this roller coaster goes, whatever, especially with Chris Paul's injury or whatever, I feel like Chris Paul's gonna play every single game of the series. But I would expect them to win this game. If they win the second game, then it might make me hesitate a little bit. Still feel comfortable with my 6. I don't see this going 7. And I, I just this is the type of stuff that I don't like about like rooting for Anthony Davis. Like this is why I can't be a huge fan of him, because it's like I don't like players that you need consistency from your superstars. You cannot have up and down like sure you get 1 or 2 bad games, but this is consistent in a series.
Yeah.
You get 1 or 2 bad games from him in a series.
Yeah.
And that's not like if you didn't have a LeBron James, you'd be screwed.
Yeah.
Like
I think I'm gonna take Phoenix in 7.
do it.
But I don't feel good about that. But I think I'm going to.
I knew from literally the moment that's why I said I want to know what you're gonna say first, because I'm curious to know if I'm.
Yeah, no, that's garbage. So you can just taunt me. Fuck that. I wanted to hear what you.
I wanted to know, and pretty much what I was saying makes you feel like I'm bugging, which is cool.
No, that's not what that means. It just means that's your opinion. You're a Laker fan. It's cool. I understand that. Like
I'm
more mature than you're crazy.
I'm a historian of the game, right? So I know that a man named LeBron James.
You want to know his record? You want to know his record in game 1s? Take a guess before I tell you.
His record in game 1s?
Yeah, take a guess, because I had to look this up. Because first of all, I agree with you, but with that information, take a guess what his record is.
How many games did he play? So I could at least
15. This will be the 16th.
16th game 1. He is. I'm gonna go. This is his 6th. This was his 16th.
Yeah.
Oh, so not including this one.
So so we'll say 15. Don't include this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he's 10-5.
He is 13-2.
13-2.
You want to know when the last 2 losses were?
What, Golden State?
The last 2 seasons. The last 2 seasons he's made the playoffs in the bubble, and then for the Cavs, 2018. They lost the game 1 of the Pacers. Those are the only 2 game 1s he's lost. Because I had to look this up. I had to look this up for another video.
The first round, or
I'm talking about game 1, round 1. Yeah.
Oh, but I'm talking about round. When I say his first round thing, I'm talking about of every series.
That's not what I was. Obviously, I was talking about what we were talking about, which is round 1.
I mean, when you look at that, I would have. That's why I thought. That's why I was like 10-5, because I'm thinking about, all right, you lost to Golden State a bunch of times or whatever, and I don't even know why. I should have thought like 15 games is much less than.
I don't know why. That's why I'm confused.
But usually he was the number 1 seed, or like the top. He was like a top seed when he was playing in the playoffs most of his career. So you expect him to. A lot of those were probably sweeps.
People were expecting them to be like a 1 seed though, as a low seed. That's what everybody's been saying.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna pick them to beat Utah, which would be an 8 beating a 1.
Yeah, but
the reason why I was gonna do that is because I like the matchup, and I probably before game 1, I probably would have picked Lakers in 7. But Anthony Davis for the rest of the series has to average 30 and 10. And if he doesn't, that's a problem. It's going to be, especially if LeBron's not 100%. Because if LeBron in turn-up mode can't get to 30, 10, and 10, like you're saying, we've always known him to. But we've also always known him to have be vertical and like play games in elimination situations like super LeBron style. And even that game against the Warriors, it looked like he had to try his hardest to get very normal numbers for LeBron. You know what I'm saying? And that worries me. I don't know how healthy he is. And I said this when he got hurt. When you break the repetition at the older age, it's way harder to come back. If there's anybody that's going to do it, I thought it would have been Kobe. And I kind of think LeBron has a chance to do it. But also, if he doesn't, he's also a guy who didn't get hurt a lot in his career. So maybe he's not super acclimated to dealing with this is a major injury for him. Like, we could have said things in his past were probably worse, but not to him. So I don't know. That stuff concerns me. When you see it on the court, it's different than when he says it in a quote that I may not be back to 100%. You can see that he's not 100%.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Like, there's feel out LeBron, and then there's passive LeBron because I can't do everything I want to do.
But I think honestly, he like waits for his moments in the game though.
Right. But
which normal other like 100% non-old LeBron that looks a little different because he never had to really do that. He didn't have to pick his spots. But last year's LeBron did that same thing. He picked his spots in the game.
Yeah.
He didn't. Yeah. I remember questioning if he was still the same player in round 2. Right. And then I saw what he did to freaking Harden and Russ and put them in a torture chamber and beat them for 5 games, and I was like, oh, he's the best player in the league.
But even that guy, he ran up, chased down, blocked Russell Westbrook, right? Running up and down the floor, bodying motherfuckers. Like, that's not the guy I've seen in the last 2 games. I've seen a guy try to do that, but just doing it, he's like unsure of himself. It looks weird. It looks a lot dirtier and like more difficult for him physically. And that's what's weird for me.
What's Lindsay's prediction?
Oh yeah, that'll be good.
Well, I had it.
We already had Phoenix here.
No, in the beginning, I kind of had it as like I could see it going either way. Even before this game, I was really because I don't know. I think the Lakers, especially in this first round, it's probably their most vulnerable point in the playoffs, in my opinion. And I think Phoenix is a good enough team where they can take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So I had it going 7 games, and I had it going either way.
And now you have it.
It really depends on how Chris Paul can play and what happens with his shoulder, in my opinion.
That's interesting. I understand that too. If he misses more than 1 game, I don't think the Suns can win without him more than once.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Unless Booker averages 30.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's on his way.
I'm cool as a cucumber right now about
this. You should. You feel like Tom Brady in the Falcons Super Bowl at halftime.
Oh, absolutely not. Because I remember rooting for Tom Brady in that Super Bowl and thinking, I was like, are these people really about to blow a 28-3 lead? But I'm expecting the Lakers to make adjustments, and I mean Frank Vogel is a really good coach.
Yeah, he is.
The defense is there. If the defense wasn't there, I'd be much more nervous. I think as long as you have the defense, the offense you have time to figure the offense out.
Final stat line for LeBron James
in the series.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 24-9 and 8.
Percentage shooting.
53, 37, and 67.
Wow. I really only wanted field goal, but that's even better than one. Not bad. What do you think, Lynn?
For LeBron?
Yeah, give me a stat line.
I don't know. 25, 8, and 7 there.
Shooting percentages.
That's a lot. I don't know.
Oh, just give me field goal.
Somewhere around 50 from the field. Lower than 40, but I don't know, from 3. And then free throws will probably hover around 70.
So he scored 18 points in today's game, right? So I'll say I think he's shooting under 50% for the series because I think he's injured. If he's not injured, I like Dario's stat line. But if he is injured, I'm going 22, 6 rebounds, and 12 assists. And because he's already got 10 assists, so he could get to 12. See that happening. And if he's playing passive, that'll totally fucking ramp up the assists. So I'll say 22, 6 rebounds, 12 assists, and he's shooting 48% from the field. Because I don't think he's healthy. I think he's taking jump shots. And that's why I'm picking. Sorry, what?
The thing is, he's posting up more like that. Like even when he's running someone down, once he gets to his spot, he starts posting up.
Yeah,
like that's the biggest thing, and it's just slowing. Like you could tell he doesn't really wanna. It seems like he's like hesitant to attack towards the basket, and then it's not fair for him because truly, and this has been throughout his whole career. He does not get foul calls when he does attack the basket. So right now, especially not being 100%, he doesn't want to go towards the basket, have a tough shot,
get fucking hacked,
and then not get a foul call, and then just miss a layup, and then you like that. I saw that happening. I don't think it was against Golden State. I think it was like a game, one of those games where he was coming back, when he came back, and I remember watching him, and I'm like, I could understand why you're not trying to attack as much, like you every time you go to the basket, someone tries to like stop you somehow and hit you in the shoulder, head or something. They're not calling it because you're fucking 260, 6'8", and coming in like a freight train, but just an injured freight train. So